What the hell are we doing on a Wednesday? Oh, I know. It's a double shot of Reaper's Underground. That's right. We are counting down those motherfucking days to New Year's Eve. Yes, I said New Year's Eve, not New Year's Day, because let's face it, we just love our New Year's Eve. And as part of that, I was very fortunate enough to finally get one of my favorite acts right now, hot as fuck, Stoner Doom. Just good old-fashioned sludgy goodness all the way from Boston/NY. Motherfucking Mike from Leatherlung. I'm so privileged to have him here today, and we're going to get down to the dirty nitty-gritty. So make sure you have that drink in hand so that you can kind of toast with us up the classic Modelo. I knew it. And share this shit out. Share it everywhere. I don't give a fuck. But before we get into it, we're going to take a quick commercial break to our brothers at Villain Arts Tattoos. Check that shit out. That's right. You know what the fuck to do because I tell you every single week when Villain Arts Tattoo Convention's the biggest in the country comes to your town. Get there, get a quality tattoo or piercing. Maybe you want to do some suspension. I don't know. It's a lot of fun. But not to mention the great performers and all the great vendors there. And coming in 2024, January, as I start my promotional tour, I will be at the Omaha Tattoo Convention. So come on down, hang out, let's talk. I'll sign some shit. It'll be a great time. All right.
That Villain Arts looks sick.
Now
I would love to go to that. That's a convention?
Yeah, it's the largest tattoo convention that I personally know of in America.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was at first I was like, oh, is this a shop? And they were just showing the convention footage, or is this actually like a convention? Yeah, that looked badass. That looked really cool. What's the date of that again?
Well, the one in Omaha is going to be, I think, the weekend of the 12th. If I remember correctly. I'll have to look and see if they're coming your way because they just might.
Oh, they travel around.
Oh, yeah. They go all over the country all year long.
Nice.
So, yep, as I stated before, we got Mike, lead vocalist of Leatherlung, here with us today. There they are, the happy gents that they are. What's up, Kyler, longtime viewer? Yeah, I feel that, man. He says he's got family over, and luckily he has his wine. Well, you know what? We're all
we're with you.
So.
That's good.
Hell yeah. So, man, just what a big sludgy sound you guys got. Just absolutely killer stuff. Heavier than the usual sludge and I guess what they would call stoner doom. I mean, the genres are so close together. Everyone's got their own idea of what they stand for, shit like that. So, how did this all start for you guys?
I think it started back. The idea of Let Along was sort of something that was brewing after the last project that Zach, the guitarist, and Jesse, the bassist of Let Along, the three of us were in a band together previously. And when that band started to dissolve, we started to talk about like what potentially was going to be coming after this current act. And we knew we weren't going to stop writing music. So it was one of those things where we just took what we were currently influenced by at that time, at that era. So we're talking 2012. We were super into Electric Wizard, Church of
Oh
Misery.
yeah.
Some of the darker, weirder shit. We were into like Leech Milk and just Noothgrush and things like that. We were already, the previous band that we were playing was a bit more punk hardcore oriented. We were taking like we're from the Northeast. Like that was hardcore punk music is what sort of was our gateway into heavy music.
Boston's very famous for their hardcore
Yeah,
scene.
yeah. That is the everybody in the band. Ben is initially from Minnesota, the drummer, and our second guitarist is from California, but he was also coming up in the California hardcore scene at the same time we were coming up in the Boston hardcore scene. So basically, like I said, taking where we were headed as a band, before it's dissolved, and just kind of moving forward with it into, like I said, taking our influences at the time. Like we've always approached writing and our attitude and everything like from the hardcore punk, mindset, just to being that where we came from. But with Leatherlung, we just wanted to sort of step away a bit from playing just the hardcore punk shows. Obviously, still aligning ourselves with friends and that scene and things of that nature, but wanted to bridge out and play to different types of crowds that were enjoying heavier music, akin to like what I'm saying, like the Weed Eater, Bongzilla, weed smoking crowd. That type of shit.
Fucking Bongzilla. I love those guys.
Oh yeah. So yeah, it's Let Along is birthed out of like a love for like hardcore punk and just trying to bridge our heavy metal influences, basically.
Yeah, I've said you can hear so many different, influences, because it doesn't matter if you're, death metal, black metal, doom metal. All of the shit has been influenced somehow, some way, shape, or form by motherfucking Black Sabbath.
100%. Yep. Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, I could definitely, and I've always liked, especially newer doom bands within the last 20 years, not trying to sound like Sabbath as a vocalist. Like your vocals are a lot more aggressive. And I dig that. Like I'm a big Black and Doom, Funeral Doom fan. So I don't mind that mixture of a little bit of a rasp, or even, a black scream here and there, it's all good.
Trust, same here. I'm rocking a Dark Throne Transylvanian Hunger shirt right now. So listen,
hell yeah,
yes, the high pitched screams. I'm all about it. I get it. Yep.
Everybody gets down to the Dark Throne every now and again. So, so I always say this whenever I have doom bands on. Obviously, lyrically, a lot of doom bands in this genre, even stonery, as well, are very occult laden. So, what is kind of like the typical themes that somebody who hasn't heard you before, can expect?
Yeah, I love this question too, because I think the lyrics are sort of like definitely one of the things that separates us from a lot of the quote unquote stoner metal bands that you'll hear. In the sense that our approach to lyrics is just taking from real life, where I think they're very relatable lyrics in regards to like, I'm just sort of most of the time just speaking through my own life experiences and in my own lens, but I feel like most of the time it's very relatable topics. I'm not really speaking in like the folklore or mysticism or metaphor or things like that. I'm just sort of, again, I don't know if it's maybe because I'm coming from like the hardcore punk scene where I'm, sort of searching for those more, maybe you might say like genuine or to the heart sort of lyrics, but that's my approach with it. It's just life experiences, just singing through, my own lens of things, basically. Yeah.
No, and I think that's great. That's one thing I've always said, like, especially with Black Sabbath, they didn't just like sing about, witches and Satan and all that stuff. They added a lot of like what was going on in the world at the time, what they were experiencing. And of course, a lot of it was because they were on a lot of snow.
Yeah,
But,
exactly. Yep.
you guys kind of like strike me as kind of like the party version of stoner doom metal, and I fucking dig it. I think it was
Definitely.
either I was reading in Metal Injection or uh I forget which one, but they were saying like, you guys are like the real fucking deal. You don't care, who knows that you're, big fucking weed smokers and shit. And
Oh yeah, no, drug
just
takers, weed smokers, party animals for sure. And the both sides of it, the good, bad, and the ugly, right? If yeah, maybe that's even a more better way to describe the lyrics right there. Yeah, I'm singing about all that stuff, the dark side and the good side of all that. But yeah,
yeah,
we absolutely
absolutely.
we absolutely do love to party and we do love a good time. And that's we're trying to heavily bring that vibe into everything we do, just for the sake of people understanding when you come to a Leather Long show, or you're listening to like that's the vibe we're trying to set. This is a get out of your head, enjoy yourself, let loose vibe. Like that's definitely what we're going for. And when I'm writing lyrics, that's the mindset I'm into. Like thinking about like that what's going to make people go off and get, first of all, shit that people are going to understand and relate to, but second of all, shit that's going to get them hype and make them want to rage.
Absolutely. I mean, just listening to your latest single, Spit in the Casket, it's like I get where the idea of Boston boogie metal came from. So what's your take on that?
That's actually kind of funny. When I was reading that, I think I know what you're talking about, and I don't remember what was the publication was. I believe it might have been Metal Injection that said,
It might
because
have been.
it said something to the tune of like self-acclaimed or self-prescribed or whatever, and I have definitely never called it boogie metal. I'm not saying that I have a problem with it. I just wouldn't say that I could take claim to calling it that.
I
We
was like,
definitely like the boogie, so I certainly don't have a problem with that. One of my biggest influences, I always say, like, if people are trying to understand us, it's like, have you ever heard of the band Cathedral?
oh fuck yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So like I look at them as like, if somebody's trying to understand Leather Lung, if you look back at Cathedral, and they used to be called Disco Doom and shit like
Right.
that. You look at their music videos and Lee Dorian's fucking jumping around and dancing. They got chicks dancing.
That might have been where they got it from. Like I
Right.
was gonna say, there is kind of a 70s vibe
Right.
to that video that I
Totally.
was like, fuck yeah.
Totally.
I mean, you couldn't have picked a better decade. Shit was so much simpler back
Oh,
then.
for sure. Yes. Yeah. The
Almost like,
producer of the video, she didn't want us to be cosplaying the 70s, but she did want us to imbue a 70s quality to it, in the sense of like the energy and the vibe and aesthetic. Not, when because she was like telling people what to wear and things like that. She's like, don't be wearing bands like from today. At least, try and, just try and bring people back to that mindset. It's not that you're, out here trying to dress like your Black Sabbath. It's just like, let's bring people back there, back to that vibe. You know what I mean?
well,
So, yeah,
it's evident in the music too.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
So I don't feel like you guys were, putting on airs, so to speak. I think of like that great, like Motorhead-esque, biker vibe.
You got it.
But, you guys, with that riff, I'm like, man, that's bouncy as shit. I love chuggalicious riffs.
Absolutely. Me too. Me too, brother. Exactly. Yep.
What's up, Defiler of the Crown Art? Glad to have you there. We just keep having more and more folks coming in, which is awesome.
Oh,
Don't
fuck yeah. What does
forget,
that mean?
share that
What is
shit.
when you say folks are coming in, what does that indicate? What does that mean?
Comment section.
Oh, fuck yeah. Nice. Oh yeah, that's cool.
Yes. To which I was going to say, don't be afraid to ask a question. Feel free. I will put it up here, as long as you're not being a dickle. I will definitely make sure that Mike can answer your question.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right. So let's talk Lost in Temptation. 2016. That's your first
bringing me back.
effort.
Bringing me back.
Because you guys were originally a 4-piece, right?
Yep. We basically, up until this new release, this is like our first major effort as a 5-piece. Even the last EP we came out with in 2022, a lot of that was remnants of us as a 4-piece. We did record it as a 5-piece, but it was written almost primarily as a 4-piece. So this next set of music and this next chapter is like us as a 5-piece for sure. And Spin the Casket is like your first signs of like what a real writing a song as a 5-piece, recording as a 5-piece, delivering as a 5-piece. Yeah.
Hell yeah. So how was that received? Like, did you guys feel like you had found your sound, or has this been like a evolution through the different eras of the band?
You're talking about specifically like this current release compared to prior releases?
Oh, sure, absolutely. Starting at the beginning, with Lost in Temptation.
Yeah. We recorded Lost in Temptation, 2016. At that, our prior recording was a demo, and we did that with a friend at his home studio, which it was a very
those are the best.
Oh, there was, very DIY situation. Stayed on his couch for the weekend. He had a big pig that we got to play with. It was awesome. Yeah, it was classically great time. And that was like 2014. So 2016, Lost in Temptation came around, and it was our first time hiring a producer or hiring an engineer, getting in a real studio, and really doing it big boy style, I guess, for lack of a better word, investing real money, investing real time. Yes, Lost in Temptation shit. And what's one of my favorite singles off that being Freak Flag. That's the song that we still lives in the set list today for sure.
Nice.
And I don't know if you've seen it. Just speaking of this era of the band, there's a great mini documentary online on YouTube. It's called Dirty Mangy Dogs.
Yes.
It follows us from that time recording that record up until recording Lonesome, Ornery, and Evil, where Dirty Mangy Dogs was recorded on. And it just, if you haven't seen that, anybody listening, like that's a great introduction to Leather Lung, and it was shot really, really well by one of our friends who does documentaries and a lot of film work.
Where can they find that?
Just on YouTube. Yep, search Leather. It'll come up just on a regular Leather Lung search, but if you type Leather Lung Dirty Mangy Dogs, it'll come up.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. Because I mean, obviously, from effort to effort, you guys just keep getting better and better.
I'm really glad to hear that, and I'm glad if that's something you noticed, that means a lot, because what's more important than growth and improving upon each one, for sure. So if that was felt, that's a good sign.
Oh, most def. Because I've always kind of felt that way about any of like the bands that I love listening to. You can always see from album to album whether they're like the band is constantly giving the same stuff. You can always have the same formula, but it's like, are you upping your game? Are you exploring a little bit?
Right.
But this new fresh sound, it's like way thicker, and adding a second guitar player to that mix definitely brings it even more chunky.
Hell yeah.
Now, was that a decision for like being able to let the original guitarist like solo more, or just to thicken up the sound?
It was a two-way thing. One, yes, we wanted to thicken up our live sound, and we just wanted to thicken up the sound in general. And two, we wanted to bring in somebody who had who was going to take on a more lead guitarist role ability. Giving Zach, the original guitarist, he could step back to rhythm and be able to do more singing as well. just being that with obviously it's slightly more difficult, not slightly, it's definitely difficult to sing and play at the same time. So the thought being, oh, if we have somebody there, picking up slack on moments where Zach could step back and sing more, that was part of the thinking as well. So it was a twofold decision in regards to thickening up the sound, but also maybe potentially adding more opportunities for Zach to get behind the mic and sing.
Sure, absolutely. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's one thing I've always said, like, bands like Dying Fetus, that's a fucking 3-piece. How does that guy play what he plays and sing at the same time as the great?
I admire that so much. I admire it so much, especially as somebody who can't even, I can't even play a guitar lick for you. I'm just the guy behind the mic. So my respect is through the roof, especially. I know how hard it is to just sing a song. Never mind friggin' be strumming along chords and keeping the whole fucking shit together at the same time. It's very impressive for sure.
Oh, definitely. As a drummer myself, it's like any drummer that can sing and do what we do at the same time. I'm like, my fucking hat's off to you. I write lyrics all day long, but damn it, I ain't singing it. I don't think I was ever meant to do that. Do I hear it in my head? Yes, but can I get it out? No. What ends up coming out is like stepping on a fucking cat. And another thing that I really dig, Lonesome, Ornery, and Evil. I mean, that album was fucking fantastic. I love the vibe of the album covers. So is that something that you guys kind of like come up with the idea and then you tell a digital artist like, this is what we want, or does somebody in the band actually do it?
I'm super glad that you picked up on that, and you were digging on all that end of it.
I mean, look at that.
Yeah, hell yeah, right. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
how sexy is that album?
Fucking right, baby. Yes. So
it's so out of the norm.
Hell yeah, I'm loving that. I'm loving that you're loving it. But
there's no atomic wizard standing on a mountain somewhere.
No, exactly. So yeah, the story behind that. If you notice on all of our covers, we do have this green female figure. We call her very affectionately the green bitch. She's affectionately, yes. We have a song on our first demo called Green Bitch, and it's kind of like where she was birthed out of. And we treat her in the same way that you might look at, the Snaggletooth from Lemmy or Eddie from Iron Maiden, or any great mascot, whatever the fucking Megadeth one is, Vic the Rattlesnake. We're trying to treat her like our sort of mascot in the way that she sort of shows up repeatedly on the covers and in the theme, and she's just meant to really just embody the spirit of Leather Lung, what we're going for, and also just be a badass fucking sexy metal chick. Those have been the types of covers ever since I was young. Those are the covers that have always dragged me in. I could get my phone background right now is hold on, how do you make it go to is Celtic Frost's Deep Throne, Emperor's Return. Anything with a badass metal chick on it is normally grabs my attention. That's sort of something that's also made its way into Leather Lung as well.
Hell yeah. Between the 70s and the 80s, those were always the best covers to me.
Yep.
As a kid, just going into the record shop and, you see this cover and this chick holding a skull goblet, dressed in fucking Viking wear or something, which is usually next to nothing. And it's God damn it, I got to buy that record.
Yep. No, I'm a big fan of lowbrow art and things like that. So it's definitely a big part of the Leather Lung aesthetic.
Have you ever thought about bringing a female onto the stage and kind of emulate that person?
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah. First of all, I will get back and answer the rest of your question because I realize I just steamrolled into another thing. But on that point, 100%. It's the only thing now is, have you seen Midnight, the band Midnight, recently? Over the last maybe 2 or 3 years. Probably just over the last 2 years.
Not live. I've seen them
because
online
they bring out this really badass chick during I probably Less Filth and Sleaze or something. They bring this chick out that dances on stage, and it's so sick. I saw them do it with on the Merciful Fate tour that came.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and I was like,
Still
gosh,
pissed I missed
dang
that
it.
tour.
Oh, that's such a good idea. It was just a really great like moment in the show, and everybody was just like jaw dropped and thought it was the coolest thing.
Oh,
And
I bet.
I too was like that, like blown away. I thought it was really cool. So yeah, if we
The ground was
definitely have
very
some
wet.
friends that would probably be, might entertain the idea. So it's definitely not off the table. I would love to
Nice.
do something like that. But yes, okay, going back real quickly. Leatherlung, in addition to like doing the vocals, my one of my other passions is graphic design. I'm a photo retoucher, graphic designer. So
Nice.
I've always treated Leatherlung as like a creative endeavor for that end of my life as well. So up until this record, I was doing the illustrations for the record and creating them. But this being our first full length, our first really just our biggest output yet, I wanted to go a step above. And like I said, I'm a graphic designer, not an illustrator. So I've always really I've spent weeks upon weeks upon weeks on those other illustrations, driving myself crazy to get them to a place I really liked. And this was the first time where I just let my hands off the wheel and said, it's time to ask somebody for help. So we hired an illustrator for this one. We worked with this woman from Italy. Her name's Esther Cardella, and she does a lot of like BDSM, like cool imagery that's very leather lung like in general. I'm just a
Yeah.
big fan of hers as it is. And to tell you the truth, actually, as I started concepting the idea for this record, I was pooling reference imagery and things like that. And I just kept coming back to stuff that she had done. And I was like, why don't I just fucking hit her up and see if she'd be interested in doing this? And she was. And it ended up exceeding expectations. So this newest cover was done by her, and I'm really just so happy to see somebody else's rendition of the Green Bitch, and just this is now going to live on as the new template for her moving forward. And I'm super hyped on it. I'm glad that you picked up on
Oh man, I mean it couldn't be better than that. And it's got all the elements. It's got your favorite things.
Yep.
She's got the big old fucking blunt in her hand.
Mm-hmm.
Vampire teeth, which is always cool because
You know it.
a sexy vampire, that just
That's
always
right.
kind of knocks it home. It's
Mhm.
got the metal aspect, with the little bit of chains and the choker and shit.
Yep.
And then of course the beloved Modelo. And before I get into that, welcome Tony from Ohio. JD, what's happening, brother? Glad to have you. Make sure you're sharing the shit out. So on Instagram specifically,
Yep.
it seems as though the one thumb push has become the best element to the promos that you cut almost every day.
Who would have
How
thought?
the fuck do you do that? I was on TikTok and I just put Leatherlung into the fucking search bar, and up pops this chick going, "Oh yeah, Mike from Leatherlung does this thing where he takes his thumb and to do the shotgun with the Modelo beer." So I'm gonna try it, and this girl is fucking shitting herself trying to get her thumb to do what you. How the fuck do you do that?
I'll tell you, it's funny because I grew up around like a bunch of, like I said, punks and shit like that, and there was also a lot of skater kids. And it's called renegading or thumb gun. It's big.
Okay.
In the skateboard world, it's very big. So I'd be at parties and seeing kids do it all the time, and actually a lot of them were pretty fucking gatekeeping about it, and nobody would actually. Anytime I asked, they would, "Oh, you just got to be more confident," or they just give me some fucking bullshit answer. And there is really no hell yeah, there really is no trick per se. But the real trick is you can't bite your fingernails because you don't have enough fingernails, but you also can't have long fingernails, because if you have long fingernails, the fingernail will bend. You need to just have just a little bit of fingernail and you can do it. And basically the science of it actually is, so
demonstration time.
At the top of every beer, obviously there's like an air pocket, right? So you don't necessarily need to do this, but part of the whatever the fucking hippie alcoholic science is you tip it down, thus bringing that air bubble area to here. You know what I'm saying? So that making the area able to go in. So I'll give you one. Let's say Make sure this is on camera. All right, so you got it. Here's the tip down. There we go. That's it. Simple as that. One for the books.
I will drink to that.
Hell yeah.
Well, I mean,
but yeah, as you saw, nothing special. Nothing special. It's very easy. You just, as long as you don't bite your nails, and as long as they're not too long. But if you think about it, a lot of people bite their nails. And
as I've always said,
sometimes when it's not, they're either cut or not. So you just need a little bit of nail. And a lot of people, when they cut their nails, they even cut them really short. So I know it's weird, but that's literally all it is. You just need a little bit of nail. And
nice.
That's it. It's sick, but it is the best feeling. I might have cut my hands because people are always like, how do you not cut your hands? You know, right. You hear that a lot. The only time I've cut my hands is when that's maybe like my 7th or 8th time doing it, and I'm already wasted and stumbling around and blah blah blah. Most of the time gravity is, popping it right through very quick. You shouldn't be cutting it. There's no reason why you'd be cutting your hands unless
that would suck.
Being all sloppy with it.
Unless you like, the taste of blood with your
yeah, right. Exactly. But it's funny. It's universe. One of those things you really can't predict, right? Like,
for sure.
Me and the boys have been shotgunning beers since we started drinking. So just to kind of see that random thing from our friend group take off like that is it's great. People do love it.
It literally is the highlight, not just the fact that you're walking down a street somewhere in a neighborhood, which is awesome, and it gives that real I don't know, city feel, like the sludgery of the decor, and here you are just fucking hyped out of your mind, like trying to get people excited, and I love that shit because that's what I do for my band as well. And I have so many bands have said, well, how do I grab the attention, of people to get excited about the band and shit? I'm like, well, dude, just fucking get on there and just, I don't know, let yourself get loose and find a way to get people interested. Because anyone who probably hasn't heard Leather Lung, which I think is fucking ridiculous to not have heard it because it's so awesome. But damn, just watching a promo just kind of sucks you in, and then you've hit that shit and suck one down like Thirsty Thursday.
That's it.
I absolutely love that one.
Hell
and
yeah, those have been fun for me. It's just one of those things where at this point, I saw somebody make a great comment the other day, just how we're all social media is, there's nothing really social about it. We're all sort of getting sold shit on there nowadays, which we all understand, especially from a band. Like we're trying our damned hardest to get our shit out there to people. So I find the Thirsty Thursday thing to be a moment of, this is just for connection. This is just for anybody who's following, anybody else who's out there on living up the Thirsty Thursday, having a vibe. I'm trying to vibe with you. It's typically nothing. It's a moment. It's just an opportunity to have a moment like that within the thing of buy the record, listen to the song. It's just I'm out here sucking down Modelo's too, hanging out. So just trying to spread the good vibes.
When I was an avid beer drinker, I was always all about the imports. These days, I'm just like a bourbon connoisseur. I don't really drink anything else because in my older age, I'm a little bit more of a sipper.
It's funny because people are always shocked to hear that Modelo isn't. I mean, it's not my favorite. I love Modelo. Don't get me wrong. If you hand me Modelo,
it's very tasty.
I love Modelo, but it's certainly not my favorite beer. I too love imports. I'm a big German Pilsner, Belgian, any stuff from any European pale lager. I'm all about that stuff. So those are all my favorite, like a Carlsberg, a Rattleburger, anything from over there, pale lager, Czech Pilsner, anything. I'm all about that type of stuff. So we might align on some of our favorites as well.
Absolutely. As always, Morgrot Universe. You never know what you're going to see on this show. We just got a fucking step-by-step how-to video to shotgun your beer properly. That's fantastic. Let's see here. Paul says, best episode of 2023.
Nice.
I told y'all it was going to be a
this is probably
blast.
like getting close to a year ender, right? We had to go big.
That's right. And then JD says, if I can get my pointer over there, let's try. Says, can I have your autograph, please?
You know it.
Is that something like that happens at a show for you? Like, do you ever autograph somebody's beer?
Oh, no, I haven't gotten a beer yet. That is a great idea. Somebody should do that. I don't know why they haven't. I like that.
Bring an empty can and have you sign it, man. That's
we do sign a lot of records, which I always appreciate when people want that. But it's typically like a merch mostly that ends
Oh
up
yeah, for sure.
Which is always cool.
So how did that come about?
Right? Sick. Yeah. So I
Good
think it
for
was
you.
right. Yes. No. Very, very exciting. We're super proud of that. I believe it was probably coming out. Maybe it was coming out of COVID. I forget. It was probably around early 2022. So that timeline gets a little wonky for everybody, but
for sure.
Around that time, there was a brewery in Braintree, which is very close to Boston, very close to where we practice. And they had reached out saying they would be interested in doing a beer with us. And the timing was really good because we were just about to start doing the Dive Bar Devil EP that we were writing for that and thinking about that. And we're like, ooh, wouldn't it be so great to, utilize this opportunity and kind of make it a tandem sort of like, event or basically moment for lack of better words, coming out with dropping an EP and a beer at the same time was, that was the whole goal. So yeah, like when the brewery asked us, we were absolutely friggin' hyped. We wanted
amazing.
to make sure, they had seen some of the shotgun videos and they knew we were beer drinkers. They had heard the music. They were fans of Leather Lung first. So they came to the table like open and ready and wanting to do something that would be Leather Lung. So they were like looking for suggestions, looking for what we thought. So I told them, I was like, I don't want to do some crazy IPA that's way high percentage. I don't want to do some dark thing because it's evil, like some dark lager, some dark whatever the heck. I just want something that people can drink 10 of. I want it to be like a beer that people will shotgun. And he was like, okay, cool. He knows that we were the Modelo fans, so I think the idea going into the beer recipe was not to make it a Modelo clone, but utilize aspects of the Modelo recipe. So the one thing about a Modelo is it's a Pilsner style lager. So that's what we were going for. We used a Pilsner style yeast in the recipe.
Mm-hmm.
And we also used, I think the malt bill, because it's malt, barley hops or whatever, malt, barley, yeast, hops, the main ingredients. The malt bill or whatever was mainly like a Mexican. It was some sort of Mexican wheat. It wasn't corn, but there might have been a corn Mexican blend to give it like the Mexican lager edge to it. But that was the whole idea behind the style of it. And then very last minute at the end, like when we were coming, we knew we wanted to call it Dive Bar Devil. This would be something that you would get at your local dive bar. That was the thought.
Best bars ever in life.
Of course. Definitely. Yes, absolutely. And then right last minute, before it went to production, I was like, hey, out of curiosity, would it be possible to do a little bit of customization to the label? Because we wanted them to be able to shotgun. And I know with craft beer or, quote unquote craft beer, if you want, it is craft. It's absolutely craft beer. It's just not, an 8% IPA, but they have these labels on them, on the cans that are sort of like this thicker, sort of paper.
Yeah.
And to drive your thumbnail through it, it's difficult. I've tried.
Right there.
It's actually funny. We were doing kind of practices of it, and the thumb would go through the can, but not the sticker. So it would just it wouldn't fully crack the sticker, but crack the can. So it would just beer would be exploding underneath the sticker. It was really funny. So I was just like, hey, could we put a die cut and just instruction for people with the little thumb gut hole. And he's like, honestly, I don't think that'd be a problem at all. He got back to me with like an hour. They were like, yeah, the label company said it's no problem. So in my head, I was like, oh, that's gonna be die cutting a label for every beer. Like that's gonna be no way. Like, but I threw the idea out there on a whim, and boom, they were able to make it happen. And it's, how many people actually, go through with it and shotgun it and do it that way? I don't know, but I do love the novelty of it. The fact that they pick up the can up and they're like, why does it say drink from here? Which is the bottom. So
That's
yeah,
fantastic.
I love that. I'm really glad. And in the beer, to toot our own horn and to toot the brewery's horn, they're called Widowmaker Brewing. They're in Braintree, Mass. They just opened up another location in Brighton, I believe. And the beer is absolutely phenomenal. This is I think just recently they sold out of their third round of brewing it. And we're going to be hopefully working with them for coming up on like a fourth time. So
that would be amazing. Now, can fans only get it at those dive bars, or do you sell it online as well?
Widow does sell it online to whatever states allow you to ship. Not every state allows you to ship. I know that it also has distribution. It has a small amount of distribution, so you could get lucky down in Virginia or some Georgia or some random site like that and find a 4-pack of it laying around somewhere. But yeah, right now it's the place that you can get it in cans and on draft is at the brewery and some venues and things like that around the Boston area. Yeah.
So the next time everybody out there in Morgrot land happens to go to Boston, you can get one of these tasty motherfuckers right there.
Yes, that's really good. If you're a fan of light lagers, not light like Bud Light. And don't get me wrong, I don't mind anything. I'll take a Coors Light, I'll take a Bud Light, I'll take whatever. But it's not that light. It's not that light. It's a good. Yes, it's a good sessionable lager that you can have. It's a sessionable lager, like I like to say. It's a beer meant for having more than a few with friends. You know what I mean? It's not gonna put you out after having one pint.
Exactly, and leave that Michelob Ultra shit alone.
Yeah, actually, I do draw the line there. Michelob Ultra is pretty whack. It's like
disgusting.
Yeah.
If it doesn't make you feel like you ingested bread, then it's not.
Yeah,
good.
No, I mean it's gotta at least taste like beer.
So getting back to the single, and it's doing very fucking well. Spit in the Coffin. Why don't we tell everybody out there in Morgrot land exactly what that song is all about?
I think the song is about sort of the process and self-realization and just experience of being in a toxic relationship and figuring out that you need to get out of it. It's just sort of that experience of breaking free from the binds of that sort of really shitty relationship that you can get in with people, not just romantically, but also friendships that turn out that way as well. That's what the song is about, and it's just sort of I like to say the song is a middle finger in song form.
Yeah. I definitely thought and felt that it was an anthem the first time I heard it. And that's something that you don't really see a lot of in the doom stoner genre. Other than maybe some like Corrosion of Conformity or something like that, or Down. Down has definitely had a number of hits.
Big influence on us. Corrosion and Down are huge influences.
I know whenever I say the word Down, that's like one of my all-time favorite doom bands. People look at me and go, I'm like, okay, you don't like Phil Anselmo.
Right, I know.
I get it.
Yeah, right.
But you can't deny that everybody gets down to, any number of them, especially, Bury Me in Smoke.
Of course.
How do you not get down to that?
Yep. Oh, yeah. Yep. And I'm glad that again, I'm glad to hear you bring them up in just thinking, because we are definitely massively influenced by them, and for the reasons that you're saying right now, it's like they have things that anthems that you can and lyrics that you can attach yourselves to. Exactly, like for sure.
They were
That
like one
Phil
of
and
the
Samo is
first.
definitely a huge influence lyrically for me, for absolutely.
Oh, definitely. Oh, Paul brings up a great statement here. Eyes of the South is a good one.
Oh,
Yes, it is.
so good,
Oh man.
so
Down
good.
2 was like
Yep,
the I don't know, the epitome of them. It was
100%.
heavier. It
Yep,
was
yep. Lysergic Funeral, Dog Tired. Yep, yep.
Ghosts Along the
Temptation Bling.
Mississippi.
Yes.
New
Yep.
Orleans is a dying whore. We all know
Ah.
it's true.
Yep. You know it. Ah, absolutely. It was so
Hail the
fun.
leaf
Right
shit.
before, dead serious. Earlier today, um, I was walking on the street and I was listening to a live, one of the Live Down records. I think they were overseas in the UK somewhere, but I sent my guitarist the live version of Hail the Leaf, because Phil and Sama, you can tell he's a little bit wasted, and the stage banter, classic Phil and Sama stage banter, and the mosh call. Oh, it was so good. Yeah. But yeah, like Love Down, obviously.
I feel like it was definitely when I stepped out of death metal, because I did 20 years of death metal.
Damn.
And, as I got on in my years, I'm like, I'm ready to kind of slow down, but I'm not stopping. So I went, kind of back to my roots, which is like Sabbath, Down, Corrosion and Conformity,
Hell yeah.
Fucking the Sword,
Yep.
bands like that. And I'm like, that's kind of how I want to do the rest of my career. And it was lockdown and during the COVID era, and they did their 25th, I think, yeah, it was their 25th anniversary of NOLA. And one of the things you could do, they said,
Oh,
send us a video,
yeah, yeah.
uh,
I know what you're talking about.
and, yeah. And my band, like from the fucking rehearsal room, we did this quick little bit and it made it to
Yeah.
the
Oh,
live
no
stream.
way. Oh, hell yeah.
I
That was
was
a
like,
great. Oh, dude, I'm really glad to hear that. I legitimately watched that. I bought the tickets to it, and we had people like,
chances are you saw me out of makeup then.
oh, that's incredible. Oh, that's really funny. Yeah, no, I remember we had a small gathering at that time, and it
Yep.
was like one of the first times seeing a lot of people too, because it was again COVID lockdown shit.
Yeah,
And,
exactly.
I remember like it was a big thing. Like people were coming over. We treated it like almost like people would be coming over for like the Super Bowl or something. Like, we bought this like pay-per-view kind of thing, like with the pre-online
Yeah,
tickets and
yeah.
shit.
What's up,
And then I
Meg the
was like,
Horrible?
this is fun. Like, I mean, it will never replace a live show. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say that,
Right.
but
It gave
for
us
what we were
hope.
dealing with at the time and everything else, I was like, this is cool. Yeah, we enjoyed the shit out of that. I'm pretty sure all of Let was at my apartment watching that.
Yep. My band Black Tar Superstar at the time. Yeah. We filed into my little
That's incredible.
townhome and watched it. And we was like, shit, we made it. What?
That's incredible. I love that. I love that.
Awesome. So we've been talking about this single, and I think it's time for you guys to get a little bit of your leather lung injection. So we're going to pull that up real quick so you can check it out. Zucky, suck it.
That's right.
Here we go. God damn, how can you not feel that shit? If it doesn't make you want to get your big ass off the couch and fucking rock, something's wrong with you.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I've been saying. Hell yeah.
So, do you get often compared to anyone in particular, as far as like when they hear your vocals for the first time?
Let's see.
Because I noticed like in a lot of interviews with, a lot of indie metal bands like that, they're always trying to, oh, he sounds like a Tom G. Warrior or, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of curious, has anyone, said that about you? As far as like
One thing that I've heard more than once, which I don't necessarily hate, is Carcass.
ah,
What's his name from Carcass?
I feel that.
And I think it's the Jeff Walker. I believe people say it because of the enunciation. You can
Oh,
know,
okay.
even though I'm screaming aggressively, you mostly can understand what the lyrics are.
Oh yeah.
And that's a huge like something that I'm always that's a big focus of like my vocal technique is enunciation is a huge part of what I'm trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest influences vocally come from people like Martin Van Drunen from Asphyx and Pestilence back in the day, Randy Blythe from Lamb of God, people like that. Again, where enunciation is a big part of it. But I've heard the Jeff Walker thing from Carcass more than a few times,
No
and it's not
kidding.
necessarily the first
I
thing
don't
that I
really
would
get
say,
that.
but I will take that.
Oh, sure. It's just like every time somebody sees me in makeup and they go, oh, Sid Haig.
Oh
And I'm just
no,
like,
yeah,
I mean, he's an influence, but that's not what
right.
I'm going
No,
for. I mean, look
no,
at me.
right.
I'm terrifying.
Exactly. Exactly.
But yeah, so I'm just, I'm always curious because so many people try. It's weird. It's like, why can't you just listen to it and go, this is fresh. It fucking rocks. Why do we always have to be compared to this, to this, to this, to that?
Right.
Because in my opinion, you guys are fucking original as hell.
Oh yeah, I appreciate that a lot.
And it's desperately needed, I feel, in this genre, because bands like Uncle Acid and the Deadbeats, Electric Wizard, some maybe even the Sword a little bit, they all have a Sabbath approach to how their vocals sound. Either it has a lot of reverb or some kind of like trippy effect, and it's like, that's fine. Why are you trying to recreate what's already done? I mean, there's only one Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath record.
Oh yeah, I know. I hear you for
But
sure.
I'm pretty sure my cat just won't leave me the hell alone. You know how that goes. Devil kitties.
Yes. Love kitties.
You guys tend to have you done some shows with another band that I interviewed actually I think about a year ago that I'm very hype on, is Mother Iron Horse out of Salem.
Yeah. Love those boys. I consider them, not only have we done shows with them, but we've toured with them as well. They're definitely like one of the bands that we're closest to. They're from a scene just adjacent to ours, being from the Salem area, end of the Salem side of Massachusetts. So we just have like a scene crossover there, but we've also coming up with a very genre adjacent. Like we tend to be playing shows with each other when we can. It's always like, oh, if there's an opportunity to get one or the other on the bill, we're gonna do it for each other, most likely. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
We love them.
Paul
did
says
you catch their
on stereo?
Yeah, that's what I like to hear. Did you catch Mother Iron Horse's Christmas?
I did. Holy
that great. That was awesome. I was texting all of them that day and just telling them how much I appreciated that. I'm sure as many metalheads, we don't necessarily really give too much a shit about Christmas per se, but it's always funny.
I don't.
Yeah, right. So it's always it's funny and kind of cool to see those little like meme kind of things that pop up, whether it's King Diamond's No Presents for Christmas or Lemmy in the Santa suit or just these random things like they kind of like,
or me in a Santa suit. I did a couple of those.
Yeah, exactly. It just added to that lexicon of the metal Christmas meme, and I thought it was great. I thought they did it in a really funny way, and what like a fun little, you don't get like outside of that obviously fucking sick Deicide new song. you don't get a lot of metal Christmas treats. So to get
I
both
just
those
posted
things, a
about
new
that as a matter
DS9
of
in the
fact.
Mother Iron Horse like video special, that was great.
That's awesome. That's actually a dream of mine, is to catch you both at the same time.
Oh
I
hell
think
yeah!
that
Where
would
are you
be
based out of?
Nebraska.
Oh, okay, sick. All right, hell yeah.
So
Okay,
I'm out in
hey,
the
we would love to
Midwest,
get
which
there.
is
We would love to get there.
I was gonna say, how far have you guys like ventured out in the country?
Ohio, I think. I mean, we've played Las Vegas because we got to do Psycho Las Vegas, but we didn't get to
God damn
tour.
it, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was one of the best opportunities the band has gotten. Truly, we had such a good time. We
I'm
utilized the
sure
shit
that
out of
crazy was
it.
off, or I'm sorry, the crowd was off the chain on that.
Oh yeah, amazing crowd, amazing time. Couldn't have asked for anything better. I'm hoping they continue. I'm hoping they ask us back. It was a time. It was absolutely a time of a lifetime. We didn't get to tour when we were out in Vegas, which we really wanted to like do some more West Coast stuff with that. But no, in for upper where you are, like Ohio, I guess it's probably like the farthest we got. Ohio, Pittsburgh. Haven't made it. Definitely not as far as Nebraska. We definitely looking to change that with this full length and
Well, get
looking to do
with me,
much more
man.
touring.
If you need some hookups, between here, Oklahoma, Kansas City,
Hell yeah.
I could definitely.
Oklahoma has been giving us a lot of love. That's a
Fuck
place
yeah,
that I feel like there's been a few places around the country that we keep hearing people, clamor
hungry,
to say,
hungry for
come here,
fucking
come
good
here, come
stoner
here.
doom.
Oklahoma definitely has more
Hmm.
than once popped up. So that's definitely cool to hear.
Absolutely, they're just hungry for it out here. So that'd be awesome. All right, so you have the new album coming. Do you have a slated date for its release?
Yep, we have. I have the calendar right here for that. We have a second single that will be coming out on January 16th. That song is called Empty Bottle Boogie. Will be
Ah,
Yep,
I
and then
love
we'll
it.
have a third single coming out on February 13th called Guilty Pleasure. And then
We
the
all have
album
them.
will be coming out on March 15th. So basically, we got something coming something in January, something in February, and then the full album coming in March.
I just think that that's the best way to do it. It really kind of gives everyone, they don't have to wait, like we used to kind of back in the day. It's like you're constantly getting something new, but
Mm-hmm.
you're not giving it all away.
Right.
So amidst the Spotify crisis, as I like to call it, how do you feel about putting the whole album on there?
Yeah, we'll have it'll be pretty much on every. Yeah, I'm trying to think of it. It'll be on everything. Yeah,
Mhm.
it'll be on Spotify as well. When you're saying is there like a new Spotify crisis outside of them being like absolutely like just generally speaking evil?
Well, there's a lot being talked in the underground world of metal, that let's just do singles. Let's not put the whole album on there, so that
Oh, really?
people will actually want to buy physical media.
Interesting. Oh, I actually hadn't even really heard that end of the conversation. I feel like for us, we're just unfortunately being as hungry as we are, we're just trying to get it out and in as many
I
people's
feel that.
hands and avenues as possible. So it's like, unfortunately, we have to play the dirty game of uh, getting having Spotify,
Right.
be
Amazon,
shaking hands with the devil, so to
Apple.
speak.
Yeah,
So yeah, that definitely like sucks that you have to play that game. We're not necessarily excited about it, but
for sure.
you know.
And I've been subliminally messaging everyone this entire time to go to leatherlung.com. So if you liked what you heard, go to their website. They have pre-orders set up right now for vinyl, as I understand, and god
Mhm.
damn it, there's just nothing better than having that big, crisp,
Oh yeah.
vinyl sound,
Yep.
that we all love. And
Mhm.
you could imagine that Leather Lungs' new record is just going to be so fucking amazeballs. You're gonna want to get it or get a CD. And man, do you guys got some killer merch? Which I know I want some. Please, hopefully you guys will sign it. That would be
Absolutely.
just amazing for me.
Absolutely.
Like, check that shit out right there.
That's it.
That is me all day long.
That's right.
Some other piece as well. I mean,
Yeah, people love that one. Gotta have a white shirt.
fucking love it, man. Do you plan on doing any merch featuring, your gorgeous,
Yes.
mascot as well?
Absolutely. And that if one thing I've been like so excited to see so far from unveiling the artwork is the amount of people saying just what you're saying right now. Like, tell me that she's going to be on a shirt. So that's definitely going to happen. I'm absolutely listening because you're not the first one to say it. We're definitely going to be putting on the shirt.
I think you can only get so many, naughty nun T-shirts that are floating around out there. People are wanting something different. And I'll put it up there. Hold on. Let me get it here. One more time. Who would not want that on a T-shirt? I'm telling you, it's, I don't know, brilliant. Just absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
And one of the things I will always say is the digital artists that are doing a lot of these album cover creations are all in Europe, man. And I'm telling you, it's worth the fucking money, which is kind of crazy to me at the same time, because it's like, what the hell is going on in the US that they just don't get it?
No, we don't. We definitely don't. It doesn't appear to be the same volume of artists doing this type of thing. Granted, there are obviously there's a big pool of US artists, but when you see what's going on in Europe and all over Europe for these type of the style of illustration and just illustration at large, so much more going on there. Yeah.
Oh man, Sweden alone.
Yeah.
Puts out just amazing doom bands. I've said it, for 2 years now. Something in the water over there. Some of the best fucking shit comes out of there.
Yep.
It's just unreal. Mm-hmm. So, which is like my next question. You guys are on Magnetic Eye Records. Now, is that a U.S. label or a European?
U.S. label. Magnetic Eye is based out of the U.S. and I believe there's like a parent company like Beyond Prosthetic, I believe, is their like parent label to that, and they're European based. So we do have European distribution because of that, which is very good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So how did that come about? Have you always been on that label, or is that
nope
new?
That came about after we released Lost in Temptation. We put out Lost in Temptation on this small record label out of New Jersey called Poison Mind Records.
Nice.
Very boutique DIY record label. A Leather Lung fan basically wanted to help us out, and he wanted to see it on vinyl, and
that's fucking fantastic.
He pretty much made it happen. Yeah. Oh yeah. Super cool. Super fortunate. Always happy about that. And that sort of obviously gave us some wings and was able to help us get, further attention. Oh wow, we were able to get a record out, and I think that put us on the sites of a couple labels that are sort of genre adjacent to what we're doing. Magnetic Eye being one of them. We had a meeting with them, and it went pretty well, and that's where we are for sure. Like they get it. We're I think we've been with them. They did the last record. They did Lonesome on Rain Evil. Yeah, they did Lonesome on Rain Evil. So yeah, that was our first record with them, Lonesome. Yep.
Fantastic. Awesome. Because one of the things I've been noticing a lot in the doom genre and all of its subgenres, a lot of bands are working with European labels because they get it more than the US ones.
Yeah, I could see that. I think we've touched on it a little bit here in this discussion, just that the stoner metal scene, like at large, is probably suffering a little bit in regards to playing into a lot of the same things we've seen over and over and time again, and not really being fresh or bringing much to the table in regards to, I don't know, just there's a stale and stagnance going on within it, and I think there's a lot more energy going on overseas in regards to the scene, and yeah, you
Absolutely.
can definitely see it, like with the bands that are coming out and the labels who are putting the energy behind it and things like of that nature. We'll see, how things go. I'm very excited in regards to what's coming down the line for this type of music. And when I say that, I think about the bands from our scene and things like that. I know, again, Mother Iron Horse, we just talked about, they're actively writing. I was just talking to them, and some of the stuff that they are going on is really exciting. But also, there's a band from our region called Swamphead.
Okay, yeah.
Really, really, really good. Very, similar vibes to us, like on the doom end of things. And also this band called Mast out of Maine, which is like one of
Nice.
the states just north of us.
Mm-hmm.
Putting on for their scene, like in a very similar like lane as us. So I see like this music, hopefully,
It's growing.
coming out of the staleness, coming out, hopefully people are starting to look at some of the tropes and some of the bad memeing that's going on in the stoner metal and want to move away from it. I am seeing good things happening in my own scene, so I hope I see it moving out and into the rest.
Absolutely. You can only use the band Sleep in
Right.
in so
You're
many
right.
different context. It's like there are other bands outside of that, people.
I know. Don't get me wrong, I love Sleep, but like
We all do, but it's
Right.
like, God damn it, I'm tired of hearing about it.
Right. Exactly. Come on now.
All right, we are in the final segment, and I mean, this has just been a fucking blast, man.
Oh yeah.
So with all the new fans you've made, because the comment section has definitely said they are going to be blasting that single all day today, and you should. But what would you like to leave them with?
What I'd like to leave them with is, anybody listening, keep messaging us if you're into it, and letting us know where you want us to come. We're doing our best right now to try and figure out how to get out of our region and tour the rest of the US and beyond. That's basically the biggest goal and biggest point of focus for us right now. So continue to let us know. Send us we're not annoyed by the DMs that say, come to Texas, come to Oklahoma, we love seeing that, and I encourage it. So continue to send those. And I think for us, the live atmosphere and the live energy is something that's very important and something that we really like to hark on. So we want to give everybody a chance to see us live. If they haven't seen us live, I encourage them to go online and look at live videos of us and check out things of what we bring to the stage and that nature. So, we're not just fronting in some studio somewhere, but also you get the vibe of it, and the type of people this is coming from. I think it's helpful to see it. I think our new video, Spit in the Casket, I'm so super, super proud of. And I think it gives people a really strong lens into the lung world and sort of like the vibe we're trying to put out there, which is just good time, happy, fucking positive, raging heavy metal energy. So that's what's up.
Hell yeah, man. Humble as fuck. And I mean, you just from that clip alone, everybody out there in Morgrot land, you see it, man. What you see is what you get. They ain't putting on airs, and that's something that true underground bands always deliver. Is they give a fuck about their audience, and that point really kind of punches it home. Go to the show.
Yeah.
If they are coming your way, you better make sure. I don't give a fuck, Johnny Kelly over here. That you got all this drama. Fuck all that shit. If you know they're coming, get to the fucking show, period. It ain't gonna cost you $120, $220, $1,000 VIP to see some old fucking has-been.
No.
No.
And I'll probably come smoke weed with you in your car.
You see, not only are you getting a kick-ass show, but you're getting a co-pilot for the good times. Well, man, I'll tell you what, it has been an absolute pleasure having you on.
Happy to
So
be
glad
here.
we were able to do this. And I wish you nothing but the best success. And like I said, if I can help at all, with my production company to get you out here to the Midwest, I will do that shit.
Fuck yeah, I'm gonna take you up on that. I'm
Absolutely.
gonna really sincerely take you up on that. I'll be hitting you back up on this topic for sure.
Absolutely. And thank you to everybody that showed up. I know my show is normally at 8, but we did it a little bit earlier today, and you guys showed up and showed the fuck out. I love it. So definitely go to Spotify, check the single out, go to YouTube, watch the video. It's a good fucking time. And it'll probably lift your spirits as you're going into the new year. Don't forget, tomorrow night, though, is my last show of 2023 as we welcome actor, director, and writer in the indie horror realm. As you know, we love our horror here. The great Jeffrey Sisson will be here and looking at all the crazy fucking shit. What doesn't this guy do? If he's not doing music videos for Sony and Nuclear Blast and Relapse Records, he's fucking directing or starring in, or both, some great indie horror. So check us out tomorrow night at 8. But again, I appreciate you all. Have a fucking great night. And thank you, Mike, for joining us, taking some time out of your busy schedule. So as you're bumping, spit in a casket for the rest of the day, I mean loud, you must always remember to stay heavy.